question, but there are questions to ask. There are critical questions that need to be answered in terms of how will it be pulled off, and can it be pulled off? Is there enough money? Are there enough eyeballs? Those are all like very legitimate questions. But if the answer is yes to all of that, then I think this has the potential to really elevate every different aspect of our sporting community, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else in and around the games side of things?
There might be.
Ooh.
There might be.
What is it?
We are hearing some rumors of a possible title sponsor change for this year.
Okay, for this year.
For the
2024 games.
For the upcoming season.
Yep.
Yeah. The rumor, and this is an unsubstantiated, unconfirmed rumor at the moment.
Just the tea. That's all.
Just the tea. But we are hearing that GoRuck may step in as the title sponsor of the CrossFit Games.
Remind us, is Noble like officially done, or do they have one more year? Like, what is the deal there?
When the current title sponsorship deal was announced, it was announced to run through the end of calendar year 2023.
Okay.
So that is the end of this calendar year, which would mean that they're up for renewal or for a new contract with a new company, with a new sponsor.
Well, that's interesting. GoRuck is certainly a well-known and well-established brand that could bring a very different feel, like a very different vibe to being the title sponsor, and something that we haven't truly seen before in terms of sort of I don't know, the brand is just on a different level. I don't know if I would call them like an equipment brand. I don't know. They're much more military adjacent.
More tactical gear. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And they have a presence in a lot of other events in and around the CrossFit space that aren't just CrossFit. So it would be very different than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah. I mean, so GoRuck has run its own events in the past, right? And there's a GoRuck division within High Rocks now.
I ran it. I did it. I won it. Let's just throw that out there. Hey.
Of course you did.
That was a surprise. In fairness, my doubles partner was a world champion. But hey, we went at my pace, okay? So
there you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go. GoRuck has been involved with the tactical games as well. So clearly a lot of overlap between these different kinds of functional fitness type events and CrossFit, obviously. And GoRuck has been developing its brand into apparel and footwear. I've heard really great things about the ballistic trainers.
Shoes,
So we'll see. Hopefully we'll know sooner rather than later about that, but we'll see.
All right, very cool. Well, let's move away from the games side of things and
from rampant speculation and rumor mongering, right?
From all the best guesses to what else is happening, sort of like in the competition scene, but outside of the CrossFit Games season.
Yeah, so there's a few things going on just to catch up with. The Wodapalooza individual qualifier leaderboard was locked. The Wodapalooza team qualifier is going on now through October 23rd. Some interesting names on the individual leaderboard from the qualifier, including on the men's side, Austin Hatfield, who took first place. He's a CrossFit MAM athlete. And he also won this weekend a competition that is run in South Carolina called the Crash Crucible. And he won the men's division there. Another standout name on this list of qualifiers is Alexander Caron, Games athlete. And on the women's side, a good handful of well-known, I think, both semifinals level and games level athletes, including Rebecca Facilier, third place overall on the qualifier leaderboard, Grace Walton, Lexi Neely, Emily Rethwell, who we'll talk about in a minute again. But she was on the CrossFit Invictus Unconquerable team this past season. Freya Moosberger, also on the qualifier. Jessica Androsik, multiple-time semifinals athlete. So some really cool names there on the qualifier leaderboard.
So, Joe, is Wodapalooza doing the thing this year where athletes can schedule it so that they can do both individual and teams of three?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Which was a really cool change they made last year. with the breaking down the competition for 2 days for individuals, 2 days for teams. And individuals were able to double dip, and many of them did last year, which was really fun and really cool.
I will say that everyone that I talked to who did both turned around at the end of the team competition and was like, oh, I am way more beat up than I thought I was going to be going into it. And I think we even had some withdrawals after day one on the team side of things from people on the whole side of things. And they were like, yeah, my body got it. 2 days, quote unquote, needs to be in air quotes because it's like 2 days.
Yeah, there we go.
Part 1, part 2, kind of long, swimmy endurance type thing. So yeah, but I'm super excited to watch. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, me too. And then we'll know more as the invited athletes are announced, and that'll flesh out the full leaderboard, and we'll be able to talk more about what's going on there. A leaderboard that is already fleshed out, although still some changes happening, is the Rogue Invitational.
Oh, still changes? Isn't it like basically tomorrow?
It is basically tomorrow. Last week, though, Alexis Raptis announced that she's been struggling with colitis, an autoimmune disease, and so the 6th place finisher at the games is out for Rogue, and Paige Semenza was backfilled for her position. Semenza took 18th at the CrossFit Games this year, and it'll be great to see her throw down, and we wish all the best to Alexis as she works through with colitis and getting back on track.
Yeah, for sure.
For the off season. Down Under continues to make some fun announcements.
Fun.
Again, coming up just about six weeks out, I guess. We're about 6 weeks out. A couple of fun announcements on the team side. The California girls were announced. That's Danny Spiegel, Jessie Smith, and Emily Rethwell. So the two women from the Invictus Unconquerable team plus Danny Spiegel.
Fun.
And that's Jessie Smith is married to Chandler Smith.
Yep.
This is her second big off-season competition. She was at Madrid as well. Also on the men's side, a team featuring Noah Olson, Chandler Smith, and Tolamor Aquino. The Hombres.
What a group. That will be so fun to watch. And I truly feel like when you look at those athletes and their strengths and weaknesses, maybe, they might balance each other really, really well.
I was going to say might be a little bit on the strength biased side, but oh man, what a fun team. What an explosive, exciting team to watch. We talked about the Australian men's team being led by Jay Crouch. It's going to be fun to watch these guys throw down against one another on the team side. On the individual side, Annika Greer and Maddie Sturt were also announced as individual women competing this year. And I think there's still going to be a few more announcements coming. One more, actually, Dubai. Dubai started to announce their roster. Right, Dubai went full invitational this year, so only invited athletes. And we'll hold off on talking about that leaderboard for now, but we'll come back as they release more. I think they announced maybe 2 or 3 men and 2 or 3 women last week, but we're expecting more this week. And as that develops, that competition is later in December. And so we'll have time to talk about it between now and then.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, there's a lot going on in the sport side of things and the competition side of things, but let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about what's happening in the affiliates and the communities and in the overall CrossFit industry.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of things. Whoop made a cool announcement last week that they have now released or will feature something called the AI Coach, or the Whoop AI Coach, which is powered by OpenAI, the same software that powers ChatGPT, which we've probably all heard of at this point. What the AI Coach will do is you can ask questions in the Whoop app about your sleep, recovery, performance. You can say, hey, why am I so tired lately? Or why is my HRV number off? And based on your data that Whoop has collected, the AI will answer your question for you in a way that makes sense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It seems like it's the kind of thing that if you were well versed enough in analyzing the data that it's collecting on you, that you could probably answer a lot of these questions yourself, but without that expertise, being able to just type it into the AI and say, hey, why have I been sucking so bad at CrossFit lately?
Truly. Or just even having another level of data interpretation, like you said, like part of why I never really fell in love with wearing a Whoop religiously is because I didn't fully comprehend the data that was coming back on my dashboard. Like I'd see the numbers and I didn't really understand what it all meant. And I don't personally have like the patience to be like, okay, let me like analyze. But if I had a way to be like, wait, what is this? And like, what hour does it technically count my sleep until? And why did it not understand? Like that would have been really helpful. So I can understand how sometimes Whoop data is like drinking from a fire hose, right? And you might need help understanding all of it. Like I like that they provide all of it, but you might need help understanding it. So that's cool. That's a very cool way to use that tool.
Yeah, I'm like you. I've used Whoop for quite a while, and I always felt like there was maybe a disconnect between the elite level